go.
Okay, students, sorry it's taken so long to come back. I'm still working on my book. It's so close to being published. We just need to edit a few more things, commas, all of that stuff. But otherwise, then it goes to I just finished, as a matter of fact, I just finished talking to some of the people on it and to get it out there. And I'll give you the name of the place that you can order it from and stuff. You're not going to be going through me. You're going to go through the publisher. But anyways, today the cut that we're going to do, I do have a couple things I want to share with you though, that I have found this week to be totally amazing. Totally amazing. Got real excited when I heard it and I thought, okay, this is on national news, so I should be able to share it with somebody. So I don't know if you guys know or not. Oh, by the way, today we're going to be doing the shag to the mullet. How do you take a shag haircut? And there's so many variables on a shag haircut. I'll cover that in just a few minutes, but anyways, we're going to do the shag to the mullet haircut. I'm in Arizona, and right now, 2021, we're just trying to clear out from the pandemic, of course. You notice I'm not wearing a mask anymore, and someday, I don't know, I hope I don't have to, because I still have some. I made like about 500 of them for organizations and stuff, but anyways, we're in Arizona. So do you know who is in Arizona that's right now in the National Basketball? Yes, the Phoenix Suns. And we are so proud of them. But this is what I heard. If you're familiar with the Phoenix Suns, if you're familiar with Arizona in any sense, you know about Devin Booker. Well, they did a history of him on national news. That's why I feel like I can say his name, because this was on national news. Usually on this kind of stuff, you got to be careful what you say. They said his mother was a cosmetologist. I was like, what? His mother's a cosmetologist? Like me. You know, we're the same. I would love to meet that woman. Anybody got any connections? That would be very helpful. But anyways, I thought it was so exciting. I mean, look. She's a cosmetologist, and look at the successful son. The son that really fights to do what he does a great job. He's focused, he's there, and his mom is a cosmetologist. So we have something in common. All right, she and I are cosmetologists. We have kids that are successful. All of our kids. I have a blended family, and all of our kids are successful. We appreciate that. I mean, that's kind of something to think about, being a cosmetologist. Some of you that are just taking these classes to get it, think about going to school for it. You could do it. Your kids would be successful. Could be something, we don't know. Okay, let's get on with the haircut. Sorry, I just had to share. I had to share that. You'll notice that I parted off at the parietal line. I want this away for now. The thing about a shag haircut that I've seen in so many pictures and stuff is the top is too short. It's just like standing up. It's just too short, and especially on wavy hair. On long straight hair, it wouldn't be too bad because you could still do stuff with it. But on wavy or curly hair, I don't know. Maybe you would like the look. I don't particularly care for it. So I'm going to show you a variety of ways to do the shag haircut. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut it into a zero. And this particular mannequin is synthetic hair. It's been driving me nuts, so I figure I don't care. I'm going to take it real short, get rid of this sucker. I thought it was 100% human hair. It's not. Okay, so let's review a little bit. The way that I'm going to cut this, it's the uniform layer. The uniform layer is cut 90 degrees from where it grows. In other words, 90 degrees straight out. So my subsections here, I'm safe to bring it straight out. When I come back around the occipital and down into the nape, do you see how that curves in? Well, 90 degree here is not out in this direction. 90 degree, because you come down to back curve of the occipital area. I hope you can see it. I'm going to turn it around. Come back around the occipital area. Look at the 90 degree that you're going to see. You see how the 90 degree looks like a 45 from where it grows off the nape. That's how you're going to hold it. That creates a true uniform layer, and it's also going to create that shag haircut for you. What you're not going to do is take it up to the top at this point. I want you, the next time, if you're going to do a shag haircut on someone and they do have wavy or curly hair, part it off at the parietal line, and before you cut the top, discuss it. Look at it. How's that going to lay? Because it's perfectly fine to have a shag haircut below the parietal line. Doesn't have to shag all the way to the top. I see it all the time, and it doesn't have to do that to create that nice shaggy look, because this is where the shag haircut lays. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it at a 90 degree, holding it straight out. Understand, it's going to look like at the nape, it's going to look like I'm holding it at a 45. You can see that, but I'm not. That is 90 degree from where it grows, straight out from where it grows. My guide is going to be, in this shag haircut, the perimeter line. All of this down here. I want to clarify something with you. One of the things that I always say is when hair travels, it becomes shorter. That's before you cut it. If it travels before you cut it, it's going to become, longer. When hair travels, it becomes longer. So if you're going to travel away from its base in any form other than the perimeter line, it's going to become longer. When you do a bob haircut and then it travels afterwards, your sides are going to be shorter than the back. That's the variable here. Remember, when hair travels before you cut it, it becomes longer. After you cut it, then you comb it back. Well, that area that you cut off, if you travels, will become shorter. Knowing every aspect of hair cutting, knowing every decision about hair cutting becomes extreme. So what I'm going to do now on this mannequin, like I said, it's been driving me nuts because it is synthetic hair. It's 30% human hair. So I'm going to take a vertical parting here. My guide is going to be that hair that just fell right there. But I'm cutting it straight up into that. I'm going to let that fall a little bit because what? I want that there. Try it again because I think I got a little scraggly. Yeah, I do. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to do this kind of quick for you to see it. Now, keep in mind, the perimeter line, the hairline, is my guide. So as I travel down, this area here, I'm going to subsection off tip of the ear to tip of the ear at the occipital in just a minute. That won't take me long to do. So straight line until I get to the curve of the head. Let that hair fall because I want that straight line on the bottom. Okay? So you see those layers, choppy layers starting to come in. Now, let's say that you want more layers. Now, before I do the other side, let's say you want more layers. There's three things to a haircut: section, elevation, angle of the cut. Okay? So let's say that I want more layers. All right, I'm going to elevate my arms up a bit, keep that guide, let it drop, and instead now I want this up towards the parietal line to be a little bit shorter. What direction am I going to move my fingers? Towards the parietal line. Is that going to make this hair shorter than that hair? Yes, it is. Considerably shorter. I'm going to point cut it a bit because this synthetic hair is pretty rough to work with. Now, do you see where it's just a little bit choppier? Now this is pretty long hair, so I'm going to do it on the other side as well. So now, section, elevation, angle of the cut. This is the most important part. This part here determines the result. I'm point cutting because it's a little bit dry, so otherwise I'd take it straight across if it was wet. So you can see that it's getting a little choppier. That is what shagginess is. If I had it shorter, then it would be even choppier further up. So now I'm going to take the other side, and I'm just going to hold it out. Again, let that bottom drop, let it drop out. I want to keep that. Okay, cut it, Should we, yeah, let's cut it at an angle to even it out with the other one. And I'm just kind of guesstimating now. So that we have that same choppiness. Let that drop. Don't make the mistake of cutting that off. You'll have a problem. And then again, there it's a little choppier. This side for some reason seems to jump out, and this side for some reason goes under. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, this is again the shag haircut, and this is on long hair. Keep that in mind, this is not short. This is on long hair. So the mistake that's made with the shag haircut, and many times as well with the uniform layer, is they hold this straight out. Well, that's not 90 degree from where it grows. This is 90 degree from where it grows. So this line here, the tip of the ear line, is going to be our guide for that area up at the occipital into the parietal line. This is why I teach you all those different parts of the head form. So I'm going to take it now. I'm done with this. All right? Remember, the bob haircut, that last haircut at the hairline, is my guide. This is not. This is. So now I'm going to take it and I'm going to travel around the head, and I'm cutting it at a slight angle to give it just a little more. Okay, oops, you know what I did? I did exactly what I told you not to do, didn't I? Yep, down, because that's at a 90 degree. Now look at what happened there. See where it's longer? I moved it. When hair travels, it becomes longer. It became longer. So I'm going to take it again, drop that down, and hold it at what looks like a visual 45 degree. Okay, I'm going to travel around the head, let that drop because I want that there, visual 45 degree. And you see that chopping out a bit. Okay, I'm going to take this side now. Visual 45 degree. See it? From where it grows. And travel around. And this is where the mistake is made when people are doing that uniform layer haircut. And they wonder why there is not very much movement. Got a corner right here. And is that a surprise? The corner is right here. Just where it's supposed to be. Whoops. See, I want to do the same thing. It ends up being habit. So now we've got, and you see that our bob is still there. That full length bob is still there. So now I'm going to take this cut. Now I'll hold it straight out. And I'm going to bring it down. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you a corner. Now again, this time I'm cutting it. We went at a slight angle because it travels down. Now I'm going to cut it straight up. Remember, 1, 2, 3. The way that you cut it is the third decision there. And I'm cutting it at a slight angle still to bring those layers up just a little more. Going down to that line, and that last haircut is my guide. I can see it. I'm not just cutting to cut. So that, again, and look, I'm trying to make it shorter as I travel up. And again, you can see that choppiness. If this was shorter, this would really look, there'd be a whole lot more movement there. Okay, over here, I want to make sure you see it. Pick it up, let that drop. See, that's inside. And I'm going to take it just a little closer. I don't like this synthetic hair. It's a little harder to cut. Makes my shear slide a bit. But you can see that last haircut. So So she's starting to look a little bit shaggier right there at the center now. And see, I mean, it's even, blends on both sides, or else I wouldn't have, just have that little bit right there. Okay, so now we have a corner right here. You can see it. See that weightiness? I'm going to pick this up. Why? Here's your why. We travel here. We travel here. Even though we're holding it out at a 90, we still have a corner that we traveled around. That corner creates this corner. So I'm going to take the two, only to the tip of the ear. Right there is the tip of the ear. I'm going to hold it out, and there you can see the corner. Short, short, long. There is your why. Softened it a bit, still got a little bit more, so I'm going to travel a little closer to the ear. Bring it out. There's my corner. Just point cut it. Keeps it soft. And you can see that movement. But the biggest thing here, the major factor here, we kept our bob line. That's the whole thing behind it. We're layered, and if I want more layers, then what I would do is pick it up again and take it even more so that this becomes again shorter. How far up do you want that choppiness? Because that's what shagginess is. All right, this is done. This is a long-haired shag. You can do it on any length that you want, but remember, section, elevation, angle. The angle of the cut is the most important. Look at what you're doing to the hair at the scalp, especially right here in the cowlicks. If you've got shorter hair than what we've got going right now. I'm showing you procedure at this point. We're even. See it? We're even. I mean, I'm coming out even. It's all dropping at the same time. I've grabbed two sides of the head, and it's even. If you're doing the exact same thing and watching what you're doing, and I hate this synthetic hair because it's tangling up, it's going to do that. So we've got some nice choppy layers in there. If we want to take it shorter, we can, but then we would lose our bob line. I'm going to do that in just a few minutes, though, because we're also going to do the mullet. Right now, what I'm showing you how to do is take a zero elevation and shag it out. Okay, so now the top for the shag. Procedure's the same. You can do it on any length hair. I personally just don't like the top too short on the shag. I feel like it sticks up too much. I mean, look at pictures of it. It looks like they forgot to do something because it's so much longer on the bottom, and then the top looks incredibly shorter. So I'm going to take it down the center. I'm going to bring it out. Now, we know where are we now. You know where you are, you know where you're going. We're going to elevate it up first. We're going to travel around from the parietal line. That's where we blend it up to. We're also going to cut it this time straight across. But look, we're at the parietal line. I'm cutting it. I'm not doing this. I'm cutting it at an angle to match with and be with the parietal line. So I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to bring it out. Look at how much length we're going to take off. So I'm taking that off, and you'll start seeing some cupping in here. But that is a hard line, isn't it? Because what? I cut it in this form. Just hang on a minute. We're going to clean that up. Up to the parietal line. I've got plenty of hair to choose from right there. So procedure's the same. We're starting to get chopped here. Turn the mannequin so you can see it. Travel up to that center crown, and again, only 90 degrees from where it grows. And you're going to start seeing a lot more layering now. You can see that the layers have traveled up because now this longer hair has caught up with the shortest point here. So, like I said, if you had it really short, this hair would catch with that shortest point. The decision needs to be made. What do you want to do with that frontal, upper ridge, frontal apex area? Do you want to take that off? Do you want to keep some length? Because if it's really short, Do you want it sticking up and making it look, I mean, the ones I've seen, I feel like I wouldn't do that to somebody. In other words, it just, and I'm not condemning anybody else, please understand that. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to teach you the whys. We're not, like I've said before, we're not here to impress, we're here to teach. So I'm just taking off everything. Now see, that's off the parietal line. And you're seeing a lot more choppy layers, and this is longer hair. So you're gonna have that with the longer hair. All right, and I've already done that, so I've just got a few little ones off the other side. Okay, so now let me take this side. Wanna make sure that you can see it. Take it to the parietal line, and that's where I'm cutting it, is off the parietal line. That's my guide, that's my elevation. That's the area that I'm cutting, at the parietal line. So I'm going to pick this up, bring it out, and again, cutting it straight across at the parietal line. Now this is longer, this is much longer hair. And I've seen it done with long hair, and I've also seen them take it really, really short on top. I just felt like it didn't lay to what looked good on that model. So there, you see a lot of choppiness, you see a lot of layers. We still have our bob haircut. Now, this hair was held out all the way around the parietal line. Because it was held out in that form, we ended up, as you can see, a hard line here, a hard line there. And are we a little bit off? It looks like. I'd have to get in front of it. Let me see. No, actually we're even. We have a little bit of a corner there. Let me get rid of it. There it is. See it? That's what I was seeing there. Okay. So, we're even. See it? So, and let me pull it up so you can see it's even. So both ways it's even. You just follow your guide. But the biggest thing is we want to get rid of that hard line, so I'm going to subsection the frontal fringe. Frontal fringe goes from the apex to the parietal line on each side, and this time we're going to pretend that the parietal line is here. We know it's not. I hate these mannequins because they drive me nuts. Okay, hang on, let me get rid of this little tangle here. Where'd it go? Okay, I lost it. Okay, so we're going to take that out. Where are you, tangle? Because I'm going to get rid of you. I don't like you. I don't like you interfering with what I'm trying to do here. There, it's gone. Guess what? I chopped a piece off there. Okay, this is what you're going to see. This is what I want you to make sure that you get a good look at. Do you see the corner? Short hair, and let me get that other short hair right there. Corner, right at the center. Then I'm going to point cut. You'll have that corner. It's normal. This hair traveled in that direction. This hair traveled in this direction. We have that frontal fringe area. But look at how it's softened that line a bit. It's not such a hard line anymore. It's not sticking out so much anymore. Now, upper ridge, frontal area. What do we do? What decision do we make here? Because we don't want it like real short. Remember, this is a long shag. Procedure is the same. You can do it, do it on your shorter haired mannequin. Look at what you get with it. Look at results before you make those choices. But here's your why on that. This hair traveled over in this direction. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a subsection off the center top. I'm going to bring it up, straight up. See that angle? See the angle we have? This time, I'm going to create it even shorter. Look at my fingers. I got section, elevation. Again, I'm elevating it up off what? The upper ridge, cutting it into that center part. And you're going to see that it's also going to lighten up that hard line we created even more. And we're getting more choppiness in there. That's what a shag haircut is. And you see the corner? We are creating a corner at the parietal line. But what that's doing, look at how much softer that is and how choppy it is. So that's what we're trying to create with this. So I'm going to come up to the center back. Again, my fingers are going down because I'm pointing it towards that center part. Very center back. And this is pretty dry, so. And synthetic hair. But you see that choppiness. You see that hair moving, and that's what a shag is. It just kind of moves all over the place. Long shag, short shag, whatever you want. So I'm going to take it now, and what am I doing with my fingers? Now I'm pointing them up instead of down. Again, getting rid of that. And I know my cameraman is doing everything he can to keep up with me here. But I've got 2 haircuts that I want to do, so I'm traveling back to that center back, again cutting to that center part. All right, so now I want to do the center back. I'm going to pick that up because I want it to blend. Oh, come on here. I hate these mannequins. See, when they do that, what I do is I get mad. There. Stupid thing. All right, see that? So you can see that there's my shortest point, but I'm cutting it to blend.
3 minutes.
I've got 3 minutes. Okay. So what we're gonna do, I wanted to show you that. That's the shag. All right? And you can take it, again, like I said, as short as you want. You see that that's very shaggy. You see that I've got a corner right there, I see it. Okay, so where did that come from? That's what I've got to look at. Oh, God, I hate these things. I will never get another synthetic mannequin again. There. Okay? Again, pointed towards. That's at the perimeter line. Now you see that soften up and get very choppy. Have another one here, just a little bit. Okay, so you see that this is a really choppy, really tousled look. This is a long shag. I'm not cutting it too short on top. I want it to be long. I don't want it just to be a shag. I want it to have movement. I wanted to, you know, when they style it, that it's going to go in several different choppy directions. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut off for a minute, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to show you how to take this shag now and make it a mullet. And you're going to understand why. It's going to be so simple, you're going to think to yourself, why didn't I think about that? So I'll see you in just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so what I did, basically understand that the procedure, a uniform layer is the shag haircut. It just depends, remember, section, elevation, how you direct your fingers. They're not directed straight across the head. Normally when we do a uniform layer, what do? We direct it straight up, right? Straight across the head. The area that we don't do, and it's not an uncommon thing, is people tend to do this as opposed to bringing it down to 90 degrees from where it's held. They bring it out, blend it with the center back, and what happens then is you get a shorter point right at this area here. Because if you think about it, okay, so let's say I bring it all out in that form. Look at the way, if I cut it straight down, where's it going to be the shortest? Sure, right here. Because you've brought it to match with that area. This is why I want you to diagram your cuts. What did I just do? It's exactly what you did. Okay, so if I have the top, and remember I cut it at this angle, what am I doing? I am making this shorter on top. So what do I want from that? So your shag haircut, the variable is going to be on how you cut it. In other words, how am I going to hold my fingers to direct that haircut for the result that I want. So this is a long shag. I mean, it's, you know, and I could make it even shorter if I wanted to, taking it like my first cut. All right, what I did with my first cut, I let that drop, and then what did I do? I held it straight out. But let's say that I let that drop and then I hold it in. Look at how much more length I would be taking off that particular area. Now I haven't sectioned off the parietal line yet, but do you see how much more? And then this would become a guide, and then I would continue taking it off. That is your shag haircut. As opposed to the 90-degree that we hold straight out, you're going to elevate the fingers in. The area of question and concern is at the nape. Because if I hold it straight out and I bring it in, okay, this would then be cut, and then I bring it in, and then this would then be cut. Do you see what I'm saying? If your angle is at a diagonal, understand that on one side of the head, you would be diagonal this way. When you get on the other side, do not diagonal in that form. Your diagonal would then be in that same form. In other words, this form, not this form. Because see, that's what we're doing there. And people tend to do that. So how you hold your fingers, so if I hold them out here like this, and then if I come over to the other side and hold them out there like this, I'm making this side longer, not shorter. It needs to be held in that form. See it? And then that form. So just think about what you're doing. Remember, we're traveling up to make it shorter, choppier. Okay, so with the shag haircut, you want to keep your bob line. You want to keep that long hair underneath. You want to keep that long hair on the sides where it all blends together along the sides. The only area that we took off is as we traveled up, and then we took it off the frontal fringe area to get rid of that corner. Now for a mullet, and I told you I was going to do that, I'm going to now create a mullet haircut. And the thing about a mullet haircut, and you see, let me subsection off that parietal line first though. Let me get that out of the way because I don't want that much hair that I think is going to end up being too confusing and you won't see it. So let me get that out of the way, and we'll cover this area in just a few minutes as far as what we do above the parietal line. And I want to get this as clean as I can because I'm kind of rushing here trying to do it for you. This is how, by the way, I mean, I teach my students in this form. I got to show you something I got for my students that are going to be starting with me. I gave some to the ones that I left before we had to step out for the pandemic and all of that nonsense. But I'll get a good close-up of it for you. They're pretty cute, pretty cool looking. I gave some. What ended up happening, I donated some to Beauty Supply here in the valley. And what happened was I wanted red letters, and they sent me some with black letters. And I said, I'm sorry, I wanted to pop. And so anyways, I'll show it to you real quick. I'm going to bring it up close to the camera. I usually give my students little coffee cups. Can you read that? What does that say? It's the title of my book. I am a PhD, professional hair designer. Anyways, they had it in black letterings. Do you see how the red pops? And that's why. And so I just thought, well, you know what? I'm not going to give, I want to give something to my students that's going to pop, that they're really going to see. So I just donated them to this friend of mine, and they loved it. So it's working out for them real well. Okay, so when you're doing a mullet, you're not going to worry about this. You're not going to worry about having it still, that hair on the bottom. You want to make sure that you just hold it straight out. And the variable here is going to be, if you look at the perimeter line, the hairline, right here, this is your key factor for a mullet haircut. How short, how long, that's up to you. But this is what a mullet is going to look like. So I'm going to take a considerable amount of length off here. And I'm just going to cut it straight up. And I'm going to stay slightly above the ear because see, there's my guide. That area above the ear. And I'm not going to go down into the nape. However, I am going to travel around the head form. Okay, I'm not going to go down into the nape. All right, center occipital right there. You see that coming in. And see that hair in the back staying a little bit longer. Center occipital in the back. Hold it straight out. Cut it straight up. And you can see that mullet coming in. This hairline is what is creating that. You're going to cut this section first. Some people start at the bottom and travel up. Now you see that this inverts out a bit. Again, a mullet is real close to what a, let's see it, make sure I get it right, to what a shag haircut is. I'm not sure if they're going to be even on both sides because I don't have a mirror in front of me to see it. So I'm going to travel around. Let's see. My God, I do develop an eye, don't I? After so many years of doing this, you tend to. All right, that's my guide. Where are you, guide? Let me find it. There it is. Okay. So see, it's just being cut. Traveling around, I'm just going to the tip of the ear. That's it. In other words, the top of the ear traveling back and holding it at a 90 from where it grows. Again, traveling around it. I'm squinching here so I can see what I'm doing. See how close I got to making it even because it'll tell me back here. All right, center back. This will tell me. Look at that, pretty close. Yep, so just slightly longer on this side. So with the mullet, do you see this length? So now what I'm going to do, and it depends again, what do you want? Now that is when I'm going to take this and direct it up instead of down. With a mullet, you would do that. Again, this is a long mullet. Come over here. Make sure I'm getting all that hair up. So what am I doing? Now at the nape, that is coming straight out to what we thought in the past was a 90 degree, and people have asked in the other classes, how do I keep my 90 degree haircut from looking like a mullet? Well, you don't cut the perimeter line at your bob, the bottom. You let that drop so you have that line. I showed that to you. Now what's this? So if I take this even shorter, what ends up happening, it gathers this guideline. So it will be kind of shorter. It's always going to be shorter on the sides than it is in the back. Now look at this. That's all pretty much the same length. Little cleanup. So you see what I'm saying? That is the same length. But because this hair is slightly higher and this hair travels down, it's going to rest longer. Now, as I cut the center top now, these are again are decisions that are made. Do I want a longer mullet? Do I want a shorter mullet? Do I want a mullet with movement? Do I want a mullet that just looks more like a 90 degree cut other than it's, now, there. You see that line again. That's now blending with the back, surprisingly enough, that layer. So I'm going to take it and I'm just going to bring it, for this time, straight out. There's my guide. Let that drop. Cut it straight up. Bring it out. Let my guide fall. There it is. And I'm traveling around it. Now, let me see who can answer this. What's going to happen to that center top? What am I going to find at that center top when I'm totally done with this cut? Holding this hair at this angle, I'm going to definitely find something at the center top. Can anybody, I know you can't speak out, you know, but can anybody tell me what is it that I'm going to find? There's my guide. And I know, I'm hoping you guys can see this. All right, let me move my mannequin over some so the cameraman can get this really good. Did I mess that up for you, cameraman? Okay, again, there's my guide, cut into it. So I'm creating something by drawing this hair over. What am I creating? What is happening here? What's going to be the result of my choice here? Is it going to increase or decrease movement because of it? Could it lay just a little different because of my choice here? Okay, now the very center back, you can see that we're pretty even. Just clean it up a bit. A little bit long, well no, that's, I know what that is. All right, I'm gonna show you in a minute. All right, so do you see our corner? We have a little bit of a corner there. It's more prevalent on this side. So what that is, what is that? This corner again right here. So don't ignore it. Do something about it. Pick it up, cut into it, soften it a bit. And what does that have to do sometimes? It has to do with just the way the hair grows. This mannequin is just the way that hair was put together for it. So you see that it's shorter on the sides. And one thing I want you to notice, I'm going to cut this little piece right here. Do you notice this travel up just a little bit right there? Do you see that? Okay, I want you to see this. See that right there? And it travels up. You've just taken that line and recreated it at the perimeter line. That's all you've done. So these are areas, this is then where face framing comes in. This is where we take it and decide, okay, do I want that? Do I not want that? What do I need to do to change it? So again, a mullet, shorter on the sides, and again, you can take it as short as you want. This is the beginning of a man's haircut. This is the beginning of shorter looks in the back. A mullet, we call it a mullet. Years ago, it was very popular. It used to be called not the uniform layer, but bi-level. The bi-level haircut. In other words, this level and this level, 2 levels. So what did I create at the center? Is anybody able to answer this? Let's see if, I'm going to hold it straight up and see if you can tell me what I'm going to be looking for. Because the hair traveled one way, and my God, look at that mighty corner. This hair traveled over, and this hair traveled over. So when it travels, here's the proof. It gets longer. Once you cut it in this at the perimeter line, it's going to get shorter if you move it. We have moved it to cut on the sides. Now we're going to take that off. And again, let me pull it up here. Another corner, you can see it, I mean corner. You can say corner, say it louder, because it's a big one. And you see that nice movement. Now when you get to the crown, you're not going to hold it horizontally, because if you hold it horizontally, in other words, from tip of the ear to tip of the ear, like I was doing on the top, you saw side to side. Now we've talked about side to side and front to back. All right, so side to side, if I hold it side to side, I'm going to get a hard line right here. I don't want a hard line. I want it softened. So I'm going to pie shape it and I'm going to bring it out, and my goodness, look at that corner is still there. And it's a softer line. You can see that. It's going to lay better. Now let me show you what happens if I cut it. Let me stand over here. If I hold it straight across, you're going to see, if I'm looking for that corner, I hope you can see it, there's a definite hard line right there. You don't want that. You want this cut. The mullet cut is actually supposed to be a pretty soft cut. So I'm just going to pick it up a little bit. I'm going to point cut it a bit, clean it up, and that's what you do if you should have a really rough looking edge, or get your texture shear. And that cleaned it up somewhat. So this is your mullet haircut. This is what's fascinating. It's just like your 90-degree cut. Look at that. It's going to lay exactly as the head is shaped. Look, that's flat, right? Flat part of the head. This is rounded. So you can see that a mullet is just as well a 90-degree cut with, and look at this, this is rounded, just as the top of the head is rounded. And it's exactly like your uniform layer. However, the secret here, how do we take a shag and make it a shag without it being a mullet? We hold on, we drop that line, we drop that hairline, drop the perimeter line. You saw that. If we want it to be a shag, we come in through that occipital, parietal, and then go back through the center occipital, and then blend the nape in the form that we normally blend the 90-degree, where the 90-degree really should be blended in this form. That's 90-degree from where it grows. Uniform layer means the same length everywhere. In this form, this hair right here is this long. This hair is this long. This is a mullet. A shag, it's like a uniform layered haircut. The decision that needs to be made is, what do you want as a finish? At times, what I'll do with clients, if they want bangs, that's when you talk about the bangs. You're only going to subsection out the frontal fringe. Please, 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 never cut bangs in this form where you cut it straight across and bring it straight down. That's not going to work. It's going to have shorter hairs on the sides that are going to drive them nuts. Always pie shape it so that it fits. Excuse me, just 1 minute. Sorry, got a dry throat. But this is what a mullet, this is what a shag is, and again, shorter hair makes a difference on it. So both of them are pretty cool. I mean, a mullet, it just looks like somebody face framed it. It just looks like a nice layered haircut. But if it's a lot shorter, of course, this is going to be up here. They're going to have the longer hair in the back. The hair at the nape is going to be longer than the rest of the hair. That's what creates a mullet. All right, so know your different steps, diagram this, write it down. I've covered all the different parts of the head for you in other videos. Look at that to see where you're at. So what? You can know where you're going. How much time do I have, cameraman?
9 minutes.
9 minutes? Okay, I think we're good. But this could be done with the razor as well. I could do a mullet, and I could do a uniform layer or a shag haircut with the razor. What I like about the razor, because of all the tiny little pieces, you do tend to get more movement when you're doing this short a cut. A little bit choppier movement, a little bit choppier look. But yeah, you can definitely see the sides. This travels up, then it travels down. 1, 2. Okay? So, I think it would be backwards, isn't it? Yeah. So this is a number 1, and the number 2. All right? 1, 2. So this is what you've got. You're just following the hair line. That's it. All right? So good luck with this. If you have any questions, any concerns, Soon as the book is published, I promise. And remember, yay Suns, Phoenix Suns, we have our fingers crossed. We hope they win. And you people from Milwaukee, or what is it, Milwaukee? Is it Milwaukee, cameraman?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't apologize, but, you know, we are Suns people. All right, take care. God bless. See you again.